So I want to start off the stream by saying, in case anybody was following my Discord or Tony Murata's, aka Into Plays stream, he apologized. He apologized as we were supposed to stream together today. Well, more like he invited me onto his stream, but something came up for him. Everything's okay. No need to worry. But something family related came up. But I want to apologize on his behalf. In case you were anticipating us discussing some, being how what life is like for to be a green mage in Legacy. But that will be postponed until next week. For now, it looks like April 5th instead. So our apologies. Um, Here is my list for tonight. So I'm just gonna be streaming instead tonight. Um, just so in case anybody had planned out their night to watch, so there's something available. But it's the list I've been running lately to a lot of success. Namely, trimming down to three shepherd because I just don't really think we need four. Most players will just kill your random turn one play regardless. So it's really just for the chalice matchups where we really want to see more copies of Shepherd. Um, I also went back down to one Heritage Druid because and two crop rotation instead of 3-0. The logic there is you don't really want to draw two crop rotation, and having two instead of three copies mitigates against that while having enough of these explosive mana effects. The other thing is if you do draw multiple, they actually stack very well too. Whereas two crop rotations doesn't really stack as nicely, especially with a shepherd out and you can activate for a lot of damage. This Birchlord Rangers, I might eventually test a Scavenging Ooze in the main deck, but I do like having more ways to generate early mana because typically that's how elves will lose when they can generate mana, and it's nice to be able to turn on Archon more reliably. The sideboard, I'm trying the single Mindbreak Trap over the third crop rotation today. Um, Only because I think you want three to four of these, you know, not dying to turn one decks that don't want to play real games of Magic. Um, and crop rotation, while nice, I think is the only spot I want to give up at the moment for this to test this Mindbreak Trap. It's likely I can play the third crop rotation again, but I just want to see how this stacks up. The reason why I don't want a 3-0 split here between Leyline and Mindbreak Trap is because in case you draw two, and it maps better so that you don't have as skewed sideboarding to do when you face against either graveyard deck or non-graveyard deck. I think everything else is pretty stock. I won't go into too much. You feel free to ask me anytime during chat. Um, but yeah, I want to apologize again for Tony not being able to Tony not being able to make it tonight. He should be able to make it again next week. Some family stuff came up, like I said earlier, but everything is okay. He just something he has to take care of tonight. With that said, I'll just start, and then if more people join us in the meantime, that'd be great. But I don't want to keep whoever's on right now waiting. The gens. Yeah, that's fine. When in doubt, assume this hits. Is a general rule of thumb, and it hit the best possible. So here, I like to lead with a redundant piece. Not to mention, if it's a, um, yeah, I like to lead with a redundant piece. It's also better if against these echo decks, for instance, if they like turn one, echo you, and essentially make both players draw new sevens. So I think I like this matchup a lot, especially game one, because they typically don't have sweepers, and you can just kind of like play out your entire hand. I think I'm just gonna bounce and just try to just flood the board as hard as possible. Like, we don't get punished here for just playing everything out. Not to mention here, if they don't have the wasteland, ooh, so that's pretty good. I think we can wait for the glimpse next turn. Oops. I don't think we want to trade there. Like, our Cradle generates mana, and we represent lethal next turn. They essentially have to hit wasteland here. Nope. So this is good for us. I think we're up a game already. Quick update if you are an NBA fan. Looks like Paul George is not going to play or has a headache again. He's got to hold, or he or she has to hold the Delver's back because I'm going to attack for lethal here. So I don't know. Maybe they missed that we have lethal, or they just realized the writing is on the wall. Here it looks like they're on blue red Delver. I'm more tempted to leave a natural against that version, only because they play out more like a burn deck, and I think we want closing speed. So I'm just gonna board out like I would against burn. And we saw basic island, so I'm assuming that like they could be splashing for some green threats, but I don't think so. Pro tip: it's always good to stretch in between matches, just to not develop any sore necks and things like that. So they fetched a basic island. As a general rule of thumb, if my opponent fetches basics, I will too. And the logic for that is because you never know when they're gonna board in Blood Moon or like Back to Basics or whatever. Here I think we care more about the protect the ranger, so I'm just gonna leave with the birch lore. Because the logic here is, unless we draw more lands, that misty rainforest is probably gonna be a what is it called? Is likely gonna be a bayou, and we're just gonna be on the mono removal plan here. Could be a pyromancer or a what's the flyer? The I forgot what it's called. Sprite dragon. So this should be a volcanic, I believe, that they're fetching. Because it doesn't make sense to not have red after your second land. Whoa, so they're on Jeskai. Okay. So I like my sideboarding plan less here because they can actually deal with an ooze down the road. Our opponent is in the tank. Not sure why. Triple Delver start. Okay. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting because we need a creature for glimpse, but at the same time we can't really we can't really go off here. Trying to. I made the major misplay of trying to wait too long for the thought seizes to go down further, and then they went back up. I did upgrade all of the other cards like the decays and the ley lines to the old border though. So here I think we want to trade. Yeah, I can see that. I'm trying to think what this reminds me of, but I feel you. So here I'm telegraphing a an abrupt decay, but I don't. We don't really have a better line. So, and the awkward thing is if you play a ranger here, like your glimpse is not turned on for a while, which is maybe fine actually, not in hindsight because our next two turns are we're gonna be spending with decays anyways. But it really depends. I do want to leave the option of glimpsing the next turn, which is why I didn't play ranger there. Otherwise, you completely remove your line. So that ends that as well. This might be rough for us. Like triple delver start, and they all flipped the earliest they could. So we're at 10 now. Meddling mage. Stoneforge mystic. Sure. So this is kind of awkward for us. Like they essentially had threat, 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 threat every turn. And if we had the combo hand, I think unless they just had the force as well, but hard to say. I think here we have to bait. We have to draw out the force and potentially eat the brainstorm. Sure. So in this case, they have to ponder. David said, "Hi." So maybe this is a submerge. Yeah, this is these kind of starts are hard to beat. Only because they're so aggressive and then like especially with permission too. And flying Delver carrying a GTA may be a problem down the road. But the problem is we're already at 10. We can't really like wait. Oops. No, they have volcanic too. So like their mana base seems kind of greedy to me. Unless the red is the splash. But actually no, I saw lightning bolt game 1. Like this just seems really unless this is the only island they just haven't a druid both games, but doesn't seem right to me to be fetching a basic island. Yeah, the island definitely is weird because they know we likely don't have wasteland, or they should know. But then they fetch basic island with their second fetch. Yeah, it's... See, the thing is, like, we have to decay there because otherwise we at 4 and we're dead anyways. Um, well, I guess not necessary. Well, we would be dead anyway, so we can't really even save the decay for the. We can't even save the decay for the GTA. The most we can get to here is like we can't get the threshold, unfortunately. Let's see what we can do. So they're probably gonna equip anyways, but there's not really anything we can do about that. Like our line here is just to get to. Yeah, our line here is to get to Cabal Pit, but that might be difficult. This version of, like in general, versions with with Stoneforge Mystic and Delver tends to make sideboarding awkward because they're not really control deck, but they're not really an aggro deck. The funny thing here is they may accidentally turn on our Cabal Pit. Sure. So exactly, there's that too. I'm gonna play around the days. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, if they have the force here, the problem is we just lose. Well, we don't lose, but we have to pitch the cradle in case they have the force. Um, I think we just do it preemptively. Well, yeah. We're not gonna attack in case they want to attack with the Stoneforge Mystic. Oh. So we might as well just kill that here. Play around the Stifle. Sure. Actually, the real heads up play would have been crop the. Well, actually, I take that back. That's not true. We could have left up Arbor, sacked it to the. Well, actually, I take that back. That's not true. We got the Arbor out the fetch. So we're likely just dead here with a true name. Man, this is not easy. It's funny too because I think, hey, how's it going, Yag? I think this is a matchup. We didn't know what they were on Stoneforge Mystic until game two. We only saw Volcanic Island game one, and they were like, they just died to a Shepherd activation. The problem this game was they had the super aggressive start, and we did not anticipate having to deal with a GTA. I don't think that really changes how we board. I think it's like iffy to board, keep in natural order, but it's more reason to if you're on the fence. Sure. It's possible we don't show them that line for game three because they didn't see it. That we can just pitch the arbor. Unfortunately, one fetch is dead, and we're likely just dead here. I don't think they cast a single cantrip this game. Yeah, they just had all threats. Okay, yeah, that's it. I don't think there was an out for us there, given that we were low on life already. They just maybe they boarded out like some of their cantrips, but we definitely bring in the oof now. Now that we've seen what they have, and I don't know if I like natural order in this matchup. I typically don't like natural order against Delver decks, but this might be different because they have um, Might be different because they have Stoneforge Mystic. I think we just don't keep the. Oops, that's wrong. We don't bring in the Bog, but then we keep the. I don't know if I want this either. Probably fine. I typically don't like natural order against these slower decks. Sorry, against these Delver decks that are like mid-rangey. I think it's better against the burn type decks. That's fine. So they're in Jeskai colors, so they either have maybe Blazing Volley or like Static Caster, which is kind of scary. But aside from that, I don't think we care. Like it's not as bad as dealing with like an Engineered Plague or anything like that. Here we have one half of the Best Friends combo, so let's go with that. And here, I think given that we don't have any payoff, I'm just gonna lead with a Shepherd and expect him to plow it, or swords it, or bolt it. Like this is just redundant piece at this point. We don't really care. Like my hope is they kill this because the Green Sun will be the visionary payoff down the road. So they didn't kill it. So for those of you who just are tuning in, I'd like to apologize on Tony's behalf. I know some of you may have heard that we were supposed to do a co-stream, or I was invited onto his stream for this week, but something came up for him, so last minute had to reschedule for next week. I'm setting up for the glimpse, um, in case it wasn't obvious. Like oof, Green Star is even more important in this matchup because potential oof too down the road. And if for whatever reason they have a way to stop our glimpse with a Canonist or something, like we still have the Green Sun. Nope, that's not how that works. I think given the circumstances here, I probably lead with the Shepherd next turn before glimpsing. The reason being is we kind of want the glimpse to resolve here, and I think we can afford to lose one draw step to force it through. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Like a Delver deck, in my opinion, should not be playing these many basics. They want to submerge this, they can. Yeah, I think we force it through, and then we at least get two draws off the glimpse. Probably more, depending how we draw here. Um, this guarantees two more draws. If we have whiff there, I didn't want to. Well, I did not want to whiff. Is the point? So it was still an ancestral recall, and we're stranding their potential forces in their hand. In my opinion, the game was not lost on the basics. So it was lost potentially on the swords on the not taking care of the Wirewood. So here, I think what hurts us is if he had something like a Static Caster, which is very difficult for us to beat, unfortunately. Um, but I think that aside, we're probably in good shape. Like even EE is not great on against this board state. And for those of you who know me, EE tends to annoy me because I always think Reclaimer is supposed to be invincible against Delver decks because they can't bolt it once it's a 3/4. So we can activate. So they're at a virtual 4 here if they don't do anything. But that's not going to be our route to victory for the next turn. I think we just want to grind with Visionary. If we wanted to, we can still force in 13 damage if we want with Crop. But I think our line is just to just try to drown them in card advantage. Like, there's not too many cards we're scared of. Like, Staticaster being like kind of the only one. So I don't know why they did that. The reason being is because let's see what they did the previous turn. So they chose not to shuffle with a ponder. So they knew that the card down. Maybe they wanted a fresh look, but now they don't get to shuffle away their brainstorm cards. Two mana, do nothing. Could be a Containment Priest. In general, it's better to lead with the second Visionary instead of bouncing back first. Um, I let's play around the Containment Priest for now. I tend to like to save my Green Sun Zeniths if I am not under a lot of pressure. And it smells like Containment Priest to me. So that's good. What I'm gonna do here is actually oops, oh, I should not have done that. I should have played the Bayou because then that leaves up Abrupt Decay mana. But slight misplay by me. Let's see if they have it here. They might. Nope. The other reason not to play the Arbor there is because if they have something strange like Supreme Verdict, we don't just lose it because we're way ahead on board. There's no reason to commit more. I'm not playing around Containment Priest because they should have flashed into Green Sun. If they have a Snapcaster, we live with it. we're fairly ahead. There's not many cards that we lose from here. Sure. And that's not one of the reasons why we would lose. If they have a Terminus in a Delver deck, it's gonna be a first. Although on this board state, I'm not sure it matters. I think the most reasonable thing. Yeah, like their sequencing was really weird there. Like, sure they can hit the wasteland. That's not gonna change anything. Like the fact that they locked themselves with a brainstorm was, in my opinion, not very good. Not to mention they're behind on clock now too, so that's another thing to worry about if I were in their shoes. Because this is already 8 power on board. I can just not even do anything, just leave mana up. Sure. So all fetches are off for them now. There's an argument there. We actually don't even care about the containment priest, but I don't think it matters. Like we just like they save only 1 point of damage, and we still have lethal the following turn. It's Ken, sports fan. Uh, they are usually on some kind of prowess or like reanimator deck. He's been on my in chat a few times in the past, and I played against them in the past, but that's what I would assume. This is a virtual Model 6 already. And if you include the fourth land, it's virtual Model 5, so no thanks. This is a lot better, but it's not great. In general, this deck wants 2 to 3 lands in the opening hand. 1 is passable and 4 is passable, but don't it's not preferred. 5 and above is a mole, unless it's a sideboard game. You have something like Leyline of the Void out. See how the NBA is going on here. So we Motor 6, they Motor 6. Keep this back. Ironically, if they're on either prowess or what is it called, or reanimator, hoof in hand is actually not the worst because it represents a fast clock. especially with the crop rotation. I think they're on blue red Delver. That would be my guess. Only because the play pattern is not too different from prowess, which I've seen them play before. When in doubt, lead with the higher upside card. I'm tempted to lead with a shepherd there only because I don't care if the shepherd gets bolted. But if you untap with reclaimer, that is just so much better. It's probably yeah. Sure. Our next line of play is probably Arbor, and if we don't draw a creature, we actually probably leave the crop up to protect the Arbor. Shepherd does make sequencing a little bit awkward, right? Because I want to lead with Reclaimer, but at the same time, like glimpses, you have to plan with this deck. You have to plan several turns in advance, um, and ideally, you have the Shepherd down before you glimpse. I think I think in this scenario, we have to keep the crop rotation up and save it for the glimpse. Because if they waste or fork bolt us there, that's just backbreaking. Sure. Wow. They might tap out. Sure. And I think I'm okay leaving the crop rotation up here. Like, I think we're in a commanding spot. And then I would pitch the Heritage Druid if they don't have a response here for the natural order. If they tap out, we get Hoof. If they don't, maybe we get Archon. It really depends. Chain Lightning being an option is a little annoying though. We would still trade for 2 for 2 though, so it's not the end of the world if they had the Chain Lightning. Or in this case, Fork Bolt works too. Bread, sure. Yeah, the only thing I wanted to do there was protect my cradle from Wasteland. Because we had the Shepherd to protect us. All right, sounds good, David. Hope you guys have a great night. Enjoy. Thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure, man. So here we really are against Blue Red Delver now. So we're gonna board how we boarded in the previous match. So essentially, they're like we're boarding as if they're a burn deck. Our neighbor liked our fruit tart, so I'm pretty happy about that we gave them. All right, so virtual mode of four almost here, right? One, two, three. This is a lot better. If any of you have ever watched The Office, one of my favorite lines is when in season one when Jim is impersonating Dwight, and he goes, "That's better." Yikes! I'm afraid that's a stifle. We lose if they wasteland us here, so we have to get the reclaimer. And then we hope to draw into the Birch Lord or the wow, interesting. No bolt. Oh, this is a chain lightning. So now what we can do here is we can reclaimer for the black source. And then in this case, we're gonna actually reclaimer for a fetch, because that grows reclaimer to a 3/4. There's some consideration to fetch Bayou there, but there's also a chance you just don't get to play Magic if they daze it and then waste you. So I'd rather take my chances here. And then we have a good amount of fetch lands in the deck, or Virtual Rangers that I feel okay about this. Not to mention the Reclaimer in this case has untapped. This looks like a bolt. It's too bad we don't have the crop rotation because that would be a blowout. If they have a wasteland, that'd be very bad for us here. But we need to get this off the board. So Ken is thinking about what to do next. If they had the wasteland, I think they would have played already. I think. Okay, there's a wasteland. Yikes. The other reason why you fetch basic there is because you increase, you don't run out of bayous potentially in the long game. Like you don't want to be down to your single bayou and then suddenly just not have a fetchable black source. Reclaimer aside. So unless they top deck the wasteland, yeah, the line would have been Fork Bolt or Reclaimer on their turn to waste us. I think they fetch Volcanic, right? Let's see. They play Volcanic turn one, yeah. And then suddenly we just have to play a Naked Arbor, and that just loses to anything. Top deck fetch would be great here. Come on, deck. Not a fetch. So they're on 4. I think we can only gain 1 with the ooze. So I want to dig deeper for the fetch. Ugh. Okay. That's a lot of damage. I think we might just be dead if they have bolt here. That's 5. No, we're not. Alright, that's good. We're gonna fetch first. And the reason why is to play around this possible submerge. That is annoying. Wait, did we pay mana there? Oh man. That is awkward. I don't think it mattered for us luckily here. Like I don't think we got punished. Thankfully. We need a pressure back. It's gonna be not a good feeling if that 1 mana costs us because we misclicked. It may or may not. Right now it doesn't look like it will, but you never know. Sure. Like this could have cast a Once Upon a Time. Well, actually it couldn't have. Not with that board state at least. It's kind of scary. It feels like they have a bolt in hand, and they want to top deck the second. Nice. That should be lethal now. Well, actually, let's do it this way. Yeah. What this does is it allows a Propagator to gain us potentially another life, and draws us more outs to beat their whatever. Like we can draw things like crop rotation, pitching our arbor, and then gaining life that way, or end step discard to hand size. That's actually something that's come up against these Delver decks, where like there's nothing left in the graveyard to eat, and we're at like one bolt away or two bolts away from dying. You have to glimpse enough into discard to hand size, into upkeep Scavenging Ooze, eat our graveyard, which is like a pretty sick line if you think about it, but it actually comes up a good amount against these Delver decks, especially when we board out Natural Order. In this case, we kept Natural Order, but um, against like Rug Delver, it can come up a lot. I typically don't want to play Ooze in the 75 because it's a little redundant with Reclaimer. The problem is it's just so good against these Delver decks at stabilizing, and from a strategic point, it makes it so they just can't burn you out. Like they want to play that kind of game. Salty Salt, interesting. All right, this is like the second time now tonight that we've drawn like that kind of hand. Ugh, down 5. The other reason why I'm like drawing these fatties, besides being blanks, is because they cause future blanks too, because your natural orders are turned off. I think we might lose this game 1. Mode of 5. This is actually why I like Once Upon a Time, because you have more capable hands. I don't in general like to mull with this deck in particular, because this is a critical mass deck, and what is the worst card? Probably that. This is a critical mass deck, and um, you want functional hands, because like at a certain point the deck's not gonna function. And this is regardless of what version of Elves you play, in my opinion. I would play Once Upon a Time no matter the version. So if they're DNT, we're actually in this, despite on a Model 5. So in general, we are going to have non-functional hands, or hands that Model 5, but hopefully they align with like a DNT type hand, for instance. Bog is not particularly good here. I think the play is just Waterwood Pass. Yeah, if they're on DNT, we have a chance. If they're not, it's gonna be not easy. Sure. But we might as well just fetch here. Save some time. Not what I wanted to see. In case we draw a land. Visionary's not bad. We don't have much room for margin here, though. If they have an answer for the symbiote, like an aberration, it's probably a loss, because the GTA is coming down soon. They probably hit the arbor, yeah. Jesus. I think that's a visionary. in case we hit a land. Hey Josh, how's it going? We more to five, but I think we might be in this game just because of the matchup. We had a seven that was not functional in my opinion. It had two fatties, Archon and Hoof. Oh man, they have a swords here. And it had four lands. Nice. That's good to hear. If I remember correctly, Josh, you go to Berkeley, right? Yikes. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I think this is rough. We moved to five, and they had the removal hand. It's let turn one. Uh, planes. I think they swords, right? Yeah. Turn one swords. Wait. Yeah, they had two. Turn one swords. Turn two Stoneforge. Turn three. Ways, and turn four equip Stoneforge plus swords again. Like that's probably as good as it gets. Congratulations, Josh. I'm very happy for you. Santa Cruz is what 2 hours from there, I think, or 1 hour. But nonetheless, that's a good achievement, Josh. Congratulations. Yeah, the reason why I bring up Berkeley, Josh, is because I went there for my undergrad, so that would have been something in common potentially. Thank you for the raid, 90s Magic. Uh, we are 2-0 right now, but probably going to be a down game to DNT. We did more to 5. Thank you for the follow, Phil. I'm just going to hand out these like Oprah hands out. Everybody gets one. Yeah, oops, didn't realize it was past priority. Yeah, we modified because we didn't want to keep a 7 with 2 fatties and 4 lands. I would say the slow crop comes up more often. The 3/4 is like highly relevant though against Delver. Um, we won our first two matches because, or in general, you beat Delver because like it's especially a Tarmogoyf against them. Not to mention, some of Elves' worst matchup um, is combo, particularly graveyard based combo, and this being like a pseudo Deathrite Shaman is very nice. We did mold a 5 this game, and I don't know if we were on the draw. No, we were on the play this game, but we mold a 5, and they had turn 1 swords. Yeah, I would have been bashing a long time ago if I were them, but maybe they don't know this matchup as well. Sure, they can use. So yeah, so they went turn 1 swords, turn 2 Stoneforge, turn 3 waste plus activate, Turn 4 swords again plus equip. Excuse me. And we didn't really have a chance this game after Mortal 5. Not to mention this port has been locking us down. There's a chance we stabilize, but then they had the second swords for the Wirewood. But we were dead to probably a lot of things too, because if they had Apparition, that would have been the same thing. Or Revoker. But yeah, super appreciate the raid 90s Magic. That's probably naming 4, I would imagine. 2? Sure. I don't think there's a way we win this game without removal in the main deck. So in the interest of chat, I'll just pack it up. I don't think there's a route to winning this match, anyways. Hey Diego, thanks for the raid. Hey Diego, I don't know if you caught or not, but yeah, thanks for the raid. So I'm just giving out free mods today for people who have been to my channel a few times. So the boarding for this is pretty straightforward. You just want removal. You want to swap for the upgrade at the fatty position, I guess. Namely, what's it called? Progenitus is the upgrade over Archon in this matchup. We don't really need the Bog. We're bringing in the other removal, a tutorable removal essentially. In this matchup, I tend to like to board out Shepherd because we don't really, it doesn't really do what we want it to do. Like there's no permission to play around. And I think here we just board out just the 2 crop rotation. Like I think I like everything else. Like you want the fast mana, you want the Visionary and the Wirewood Recursion, and then Reclaimer for the removal. No, I don't board out Once Upon a Time Ever. I used to when I first started playing, testing it in this build about when Once Upon a Time came out. I think it was 2019, November 2019, and I didn't know what to board out. Oh, that's bad. So I would board out some number of Once Upon a Time, but in my opinion, it's kind of like the Green Ponder. I don't think you should be boarding it out, or I don't personally. Sure, this is a lot better. Not much better, but and the reason being too is because the reason why I like Once Upon a Time in this deck is because it makes many more hands keepable, and I don't like to. I like keeping, for instance, 1 land Cradle hands with a Once Upon a Time because you're likely gonna hit. Or similarly, if you want, it just maintains good spell to land ratio as well. So here, yeah, we need creatures, so no problem, anytime, man. Man, this is an awkward hand. I think we just keep the Visionary actually, and just try to cycle through our deck. It's like weird to keep this up, but yeah, that's actually fair, Diego, and something I hadn't considered. But that's definitely fair. I think given that they tapped out, we can go ahead and take this line. We get super punished here if they, well, not really. We get sort of punished if they have the Spear of the Labyrinth, but we can just natural order next turn anyways. But yeah, that's a good point by Diego. Like that might be a situation to board out Once Upon. The other thing though is like it does help you hit 1 drops, so there's that. So I don't know why they did that, but it does stop our natural order for a turn. So we're not gonna walk the ranger into the mom here. Like it's too important. They might do it if they're gonna do it again. Wow. Sure, that's fine. We do have the progenitus here, so I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah, one time no priest, please. No priest. See, it's good. There is a chance they have council judgment, but hopefully they don't draw it or they don't play it. Sword of Fire and Ice, sure. Sure. They're gonna attack? Okay. Ooh, that's good. I guess we can go nuts here with the glimpse. Here, there's an argument to. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if they respond to this with the swords, because I want to essentially get a double glimpse chain going here. All right, what's going on? That might be a flicker wisp. Sure. So I want the mana, which is why I'm leading with the Reclaimer there. Ooh, that was a good draw. Oops. Ah, that was a slight mistake by me. I should have bounced the other elf. Don't know if it matters here, but hopefully not. Yeah, so we should have gotten one more draw out of that, potentially two. They have to gain life here, for what it's worth. Yeah, they conceded. Small misplay, but not punished, so I can only thank the magic gods for that. More like I defaulted into the autopilot there with the glimpse chain. But yeah, I should have bounced the one of the other one drops. Sometimes I have a bad habit of piloting too much. There's nothing I would really want to change. Yes and no. So I think Cataclysm can be good. The problem is you usually have either the Wirewood or the Korean Ranger. So it often ends up that you can play through it. If they're ahead, sometimes it helps them win more and press their advantage, which DNT can have their issues closing out this matchup. But in general, they're not winning just because of Cataclysm resolved, if that makes sense. It's not like it's against like blue decks. So I've played DNT before, and against these like, ugh, I'm like tempted to keep this, to be honest. What do you think, chat? Should we just keep this? Yeah, I think we should. Like, this is a mode of 6, but the 6 is very good, in my opinion. Yeah, Progenitus has a habit of doing that. Oh, that's annoying. Huh. Yeah, they probably kept it just on a Canonus alone. If as long as they don't have a GTA anytime soon, I think we're okay. If they do, well, there's an argument there to be made that we protect our Arbor with the Green Sun for one on Ranger, but sure. But I wanted to dig for lands. The problem here is, we don't have much mana, and actually, let's do this. That can unlock our hand. Like if we two up Cradle. Well, the problem is Progenitus is in our hand, so natural order isn't great anyways. Yeah, that's fair. I just wanted to get the Cradle potentially out. Sure. On the bright side, they don't have a fast clock. They should attack there. All right. They left 2 mana up, which is kind of interesting. Mind Sensor. Good thing we didn't run out our Green Sun, I guess. I think we want the black mana potentially. Not feeling good about this game. Normally, it's funny. We can actually beat that card. The problem though is the we can't search for the man, this is so awkward. Hmm. It's gonna be not easy. Um, we have our out to this, which is the Cabal Pit. The issue though is like we can't tutor it because of the mind sensor. I think it's dangerous here to try to like deck thin. Uh, that's fine. Like, oh, man, this is a lot of lock pieces to fight through. Like, the problem is we can't really glimpse to dig into our outs because of the canoness. Let's do this. We just have to naturally draw a Cabal Pit, which admittedly is possible, but it's kind of annoying. Like we at least we have the out to the GT. Sure. Yeah, they could if it bothers them too much. I'm just gonna start like loading up in case we draw the hoof naturally. This is like super awkward for us. Like with these two moms are kind of annoying. Sure. I do not know why they are not equipping. Oh, because they can't attack anyways, so there's no point. Man, let me think. I think so too. I'm debating whether to hit the GTA now because that's one way we can lose this game, and I think it's probably right. Wait, we already did that. Sorry. I'm gonna do this on their upkeep. The nice thing about Green Sun is we don't lose if we get into this weird situation where neither side attacks. Nice, Diego. Thank you for the follow, Lethal Biscotti. They might have Palace Jailer maybe. This is a strange game. Like we can beat this card. The problem is we need to have the hoof too. And if anything, they might be helping us. I should probably try to glimpse, not glimpse, Green Sun there for the Visionary. And if I miss, I miss. So that was maybe a misplay right there on my behalf. Nice. Let's start to deck thin. Yeah, I liked our position actually. I think it's gonna be good for us. Ugh, that's a whiff. Okay. I think Birchlow Rangers might be bugged there. Like, I don't know why it allowed me to morph. So we know the hoof went to the bottom. Um, so we're gonna reclaim her back to the top. Sure. What are they hitting? Uh, sure. Yeah, we saw it go to the bottom. So this is good. Actually, let's do this. If they waste this, we lose. So we can't. Yeah, that's awkward. Actually, let's do it. Yeah. It's just if I had the kill already in hand, then it's different. But we cannot expose the we cannot expose the Cabal Pit there. That's our way of winning. And they haven't used any Wasteland. Sure. I don't think they're gonna be attacking anytime soon, but like I'm trying to see how they win because we still have Green Sun to shuffle back into our library. That is interesting, actually. I want to draw. Okay. Let's see if this works first. We keep shuffling the hoof to the bottom. Sorry, Chad. I know this is not the most exciting. Although it is a very strange game. Oh, so they might start porting us, which is annoying. We are not close to Progenitus yet, for those of you who are curious. Sure. So the good thing is now on upkeep we can just pump. So that's extra damage. So that's one half of the equation now. Alright, so that's good. We can start aggressively reclaiming now. Because we have the kill. We're gonna instead try to dig for the Cabal Pit now. Interesting. Okay. Okay. There it is. LFG. This is so sick. This is such a sick game. What is that? You have got to be kidding me. I mean, we're playing against I don't know what to call this kind of deck. What is going on? Like, all right. I guess we can't do that then. Maybe they're gonna try to time us out then. I don't really understand what's going on here. I thought we had the game, but I didn't expect that to happen. Man. Alright, this is a lot harder. So I think we're actually in a tough spot now because, well, actually no, that's not true. Like they would need a meddling mage on like Green Sun Zenith. So I don't know how they beat Green Sun by looping. So I'm just gonna quickly try not to time out. I'm gonna fail to find is my line now. I can also just discard Progenitus to turn. Problem is, it's not gonna be for a while. I might time out before then. No, but I mean, I'm not ruling anything out. They're playing Stonecloaker, like of all cards. I don't think so. I mean, I think they can loop with if they have a Charming Prince. If they're playing that like kind of line, that's similar to Esperval. Oh, turn off. Man, that is. I don't like that at all. What my opponent is doing. Like they wasted me because I. Oh, man. Okay. Like, come on, bro. Like, obviously that doesn't happen if I don't yield there. Yeah, I that wasteland looked pretty fishy to me. Like the fact that the one turn I yield priority and the one turn I yield priority they wasteland me. It doesn't really matter if I can't Green Sun at the moment. I'm just putting it back. I guess I can just let the glimpses just go to the graveyard. I do have to play a little faster. I know with my opponent I can't just um, yield now because they might just wasteland me out of nowhere again, which is frustrating. This is aggravating. Like I cannot believe they are playing this card. All right. That was frustrating. Sorry, chat. I let you down that game. I thought we had it. Our line was pretty obvious the whole time. I don't know if they were sniping or not. Like it seemed kind of fishy that they wastelanded us the one turn that we passed priority. But if they were sniping us, then they knew that our line as well was the Cabal Pit for the was to draw the Cabal Pit plus the Crater Hoof and then kill in the same turn. They had the answer for it, which was the Stonecloaker, but I don't think there's a way we can play around that, given two moms out. And unfortunately, we lost game one because we mod 5. Victorious champion. Thanks, Roland. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, we'll try. Like, it is what it is. Like, sometimes that does happen. I just really did not have. I don't think I've ever played against a Stonecloaker ever before in Legacy. Like, definitely in draft formats, yes, but that was a first. I definitely thought we had it. Like, we had the line too. Like for a while, and just we needed to draw into it. Yeah, the only reason why I know about that card is because of Cube Draft with my LGS friends a couple years back. But it is what it is. Like something to keep in mind in case I run into that in the future again. I mean, it is the thing though. Yeah, I agree. We can't play around everything, and I don't think I've ever played against that card ever in my life. It just so happened it got us there. Um, like I think our line was perfect. Like I think we played it as well as we possibly could have. Like we just wait till we draw both hoof plus and thin out our deck at the same time with, and then Cabal pit the Peacekeeper and hoof at the same turn. It's another Stoneforge deck. Actually, I need to be a little careful. I should play this out first to play around the days. It's a little bit sloppy by me. Okay, that's very good. I don't think we care. Ideally, this is a one drop here. That's not great. The reason why we want the one drop is a pitch for the natural order to play around a swords. So this should be game. Yeah. Yeah, Shepherd is a very dumb card. Sometimes it does nothing, and other times like that, you just have a kill that's protected. Um, if they banned it, I wouldn't mind. Like the gameplay is kind of poor with that card. So Diego, I think we played it really well. They got us with a Stonecloaker to bounce. What's it called? To bounce their. What is it called? To bounce their Peacekeeper and Bala back out. I think in hindsight, Stonecloaker. I don't know how to put the card here, but here's the card. And then they bounced it and bowed it back in. I guess in hindsight, what we should have done was hold the oof to the same turn and play all three in the same turn. But I don't think I would have had the foresight to do all of that and play around this card. I don't think that's like even smart too. So they're on a abrupt decay deck. I think sorry, not abrupt decay. They're on a Stoneforge deck. I think I just like the Thought Seizes here. They're not really that tempo-y. I mean, the Canonist was fine. I think like we had the kill. The problem is we didn't play around a card that is typically not played. I don't think we like Bog, to be honest. So we want the Cabal Pit here for the removal. And I think we can just toss this back. They're not a Wasteland deck, so I can keep... We can board out one Cradle. I know that sounds... like, why would you board out the strongest card? Because the odds are we're probably going to have one copy anyways, because of no Wasteland. I think that's fine. Yeah, that was just a very unfortunate game, in my opinion. Here we're playing around. Like I don't think they have Wasteland, but in case they do. Sure. We need to hit a land drop here. So they have Dazed? So it looks like this is just I don't know if they're playing Delve or not, but like a tempo-y Bant Stoneforge deck. Yikes, that's not good. There's no point in running out the Reclaimer. It could be, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like they're just what did we see game one? Just Stoneforge, right? Ah, gotcha. So maybe this is like Analog's list, and then Victorious Champions trying it. Man, not good. I think in hindsight, maybe I leave the I pitch the Rangers, so in case this game goes long, I can see their hand for game three. That'd probably be the heads up play. All right, so we know they have Euro now. Probably keep in the Bog. So escape Euro. I think we're probably losing this, but I just want to see what they have for game three. Uh, the big disadvantage or advantage that blue players have, and disadvantage that non-blue players have is um, blue players, like sometimes you can't tell what they're on, like based on what they've played. It could be like one or two different things or different builds of a certain thing. Like if you're going turn one Green Sun Zenith, like that can only be so many decks, for instance, or turn one like a Heritage Druid. That's a dead giveaway. I think maybe if they attack two more times or even one more time, I think that's enough. I just want to see what they have. They're definitely on a slower deck because we see Stoneforge Mystic, we see Euro. Um, no Wasteland so far, but they're playing Days. And it's possible they're trying to conceal information from us too, by not revealing unless it needs to be revealed. So two basics tells me they're probably not on Wasteland. Three basics actually. I'm gonna purposely run out this, see if they waste it. Sure. Hip Hop Anonymous. I actually like that screen name. Shout out to you. Alright. Sorry, thanks for being patient there. I just wanted to see if I could get any information out of their deck. I'm gonna change how I sideboard here. I definitely want the Bajuka Bog back. I don't think we actually want the Decay. Like, we can actually block balance what they do. And I'd rather not have dead cards in my hand. We can probably take out the Latch Birch Lore. Everything else, I think I'm happy about how we boarded. Ooze is interesting, but I think the Bog is enough. Yeah. Sure, that's fine. This is a pretty good hand, actually. I like to play things safe, so that means turn one Thoughtseize. See what's up. Force of Will. Dang, they have a Wasteland? With basics? Let's take the Force of Will. They may try to cheese the game here, but we'll see. Yeah, it definitely is big danger here. Luckily, did not get punished yet. So their hand is okay. Euro, Wasteland, Skyclave. I don't think we care about Skyclave. I'm just gonna ramp. We need the mana. They made Euro here, and that gets them a little bit closer to escape. Oh, actually, that planes helps. Sure, I don't think we care. We're gonna unlock our hand. So what this does is it plays around ST plea plus Euro now. Let's see what's up. 3 lands, okay. I'm gonna start deck thinning, but I'm gonna fetch appropriately though, just in case. Hey Levi, how's it going, man? So here they have 4 cards. I think that's fine. We don't need a bog yet. We are 2-1 in this league. We lost kind of a heartbreaker in the last round where our opponent played a stone cloaker to save their peacekeeper that we had set up multiple turns to draw the hoof and the natural hoof because they had a mind sensor out. And they had a canonist out as well. Like we set it up so that we would draw into the hoof plus the Cabal Pit, which was our opponent drew all lands. But yeah, kind of a crushing loss. But yeah, it was the first time I've ever played against Stone Cloaker outside of Cube. So that was kind of brutal. We are 3-1 now. And I think I don't really mind losing that third match. Like we won a 5 game 1, and then game 2 we won pretty convincingly with a turn 3 or 4 natural order for Progenitus. And then we actually played pretty well, I think, in game 3 to set up naturally drawn Cabal Pit to get around the moms. Plus, because they had double mom, peacekeeper, canonist out, and then we set it up so that we would draw both Cabal Pit plus Natural Hoof, and then on the turn that we would kill them, um, they had a Stone Cloaker to bounce their Peacekeeper and volley it back in, which is kind of brutal because we had used our oof earlier that they aberrationed. If I had known that that was a possibility, I would have held the collector oof and done all three things the same turn. But I didn't think that they had an answer for our line. It was a little suspicious too because the one turn that we auto yielded to because we were a little low on time, they chose to wasteland our bayou. On the one turn that we did not we passed priority. So that was as chat noted, kind of suspicious. Exactly. Now I know how to play around that card. But it was mental misstep, aka Da Cedris, that pointed that out. Very good player. Gun of Mercy. I feel like this is a Goblins player, but I could be wrong. And then, our first two wins were against Delver. Those are pretty standard. Mox Diamond. That's not a good sign. I hope they're not on lands. I think they're on lands. Yep. Punishing Fire. This matchup tends to be very difficult, chat. We gotta stop this engine too. If they Monka S, yeah, I actually figured out. I forgot who told me. I think it might have been chat last time, but I wasn't sure how to pronounce this correctly. But it definitely is Monka S for us. If they have the P fire here, we probably lose. To be honest, like I don't know if we can stop this recursive engine. Like our hand's a little slow, and they likely would draw the wasteland at some point. This is the one matchup I will say I am. I have Levi to thank for and the Zoomer Cabal to thank for that. They've definitely helped me grow as a player and helped me grow as a person, so to speak. I've learned all this new lingo now. All right, they're gonna port me on upkeep, which is fine. Maybe not. They should. Sure. This is a tough situation. So if we play the Cradle, we're gonna attack regardless. But if we play the Cradle, they can waste it, and then we're back in square one. I think we want to take the more aggressive line and set up for what's it called, the bog on Loam next turn. Oh yeah, I did see about that. I know. So Chad mentioned that Honorog was playing it, but I did see that Daniel was working on that in the Hive Mind. It didn't. I didn't put one and one together, but we won pretty convincingly games one and three. Unfortunately, game three had less to do with us, and they just drew all lands. Game one, we just had the protected Shepherd kill, and then game two, what happened? Oh, we just never had a second land drop. We were stuck on lands. So they have the combo here. This is another reason why you go for the upside, right? Like sometimes they go for the kill, and then in order to have any chance of living another turn, so to speak, you have to try to go off prematurely as well. And while there's a good chance of fizzling, like it's better than zero and being dead. Like they probably won't port here. Maybe they will. I don't know how aggressive they are. So they're taking the aggressive line here. And here, we need to take the mana saving line. What I mean by that is we can't just play two glimpses and just like pass because we're dead, right? We need to do optimize as much as we can here. We can put, yeah, 3 mana. We can play this and bait a guy's another turn too. Uh, nice. So this is kind of tough. Like we have the mana from the Bursar Rangers, but then I think we want more looks because at some point we're gonna want to draw into the Heritage Druid or the crop rotation, and I think now is the time to fire off the second glimpse. Like this is probably one of the trickier things to keep in mind when playing elves is what is the sequencing, and particularly in cases like this where you have to maximize for one or the other. In this case, we needed to maximize for mana initially. Yeah, we held off Levi on the second glimpse, so they're interesting. Maybe they're playing around main deck Assassin's Trophy, which is fine. Yeah, we held off the second glimpse because we needed the upfront mana for the cradle, and then I think now we just have to dig deep for the crop rotation and the natural order. Like, there really isn't another line from this point. The good thing is we do have some redraws. Okay, so there's the natural order that will buy us one turn. And now we're very constrained on mana now, but we need to hit the heritage or the crop now. Oh, I wish I played two heritage instead of two Birch Lord here. Alright, so there's a green sun, but now we're kind of short on mana. Um, let's see if we hit it here. Nope, not yet. Alright, there's the crop rotation that we needed. Let's see. We have to kill the following turn. I'm trying to think what we lose to here. I don't think we lose to Loam. Hoof isn't lethal, unfortunately. Well, actually, let me take that back. We have a green. No, it's not. They have one blocker in Marriage, and we only have two attackers, so they block the hoof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we would need. Let me think. We would need this to be a 2020, and I don't think we have a line where it is. Yeah, we could do that. I actually kind of. Oh, we just drew the huff. So, and we actually locked ourselves out because we don't have a second crop rotation to draw into now. Unfortunately, with the and we're dangerously close to milling ourselves out, anyways. Yeah, technically speaking, we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think we just passed the turn, honestly, here. Because I think we could have gone for the line where we make this a 17-17. Or actually, it would have to be a 20-20 because there's no way to get lands. Well, I guess the crop would fetch this, but then all the cradles are out anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so our out to beat that would have been get 17 creatures on board, so you have two attackers, and then crop for the last one. But the problem is we only have so many cradles in the deck, right? Like you have to make sure you get lucky, and I mean easier said than done, right? Where the cradle is still in the deck, but you draw the crop, and then obviously it's easier if you have the natural order for the hoof, but if you draw the hoof, then that changes the map too. I think we're in a good situation regardless because we have the bog here, in case they have any shenanigans. But yeah, that's pretty clutch glimpse. And I know this version of the deck before people would give it flack because we couldn't end the game on the same turn, and I just don't think that's accurate anymore with a crowd rotation package. Like we easily could have ended the game if we drew in a different sequence there. Here the sideboard, we bring in the graveyard hate, and then the Caracas package. I'm trying. Levi just joined us, but I'm trying the Mindbreak Trap in the third crop rotation slot. It does help to have four crops instead of the two main deck. Um, I explained this last week, but the reason why I trimmed from 4 to 3 to 2 crop rotations in the main is because you really don't want to draw two against matches where it's irrelevant. And there's argument to have the third in the sideboard, but I think 4 is definitely wrong in the main. There's 3 is defensible depending what you do, um, but I think 2 is a sweet spot. Things would have been a lot easier there if this was the second heritage, so maybe that's something to keep in mind, just for combo potential in case you need a goldfish. But I think overall, this tends to be a better card in my opinion in this deck because you just need fewer resources, like which is how this deck is built. I yeah, I think no, I don't really like Nettle Sentinel. The reason being is because I think the card just doesn't do anything by itself. Like if you want it as a tutor target, it's probably okay, but I would only want it if I was playing the full set of Heritage, and the only way I play the full set of Heritage is if that's in addition to the crop rotation. I think this is just an insane card. So what that would look like potentially is, let's just say hypothetical, Shepard gets banned for gameplay reasons or whatever, and then that frees up 3 slots. Maybe those 3 slots are for 3 heritage, and then you can cut another card for the Nano Sentinel. Like that's probably how I would build it. I just don't think I'm not a big fan of the card. Yeah, so Levi hit it on the nose. Like card rotation, there's a 2 Birch Lords and 1 heritage is probably okay, but I would rather have more mana than the first Nettle effect. I don't think it's that relevant. Like we saw there, like we could have easily comboed out if we had a third attacker, for instance. This is fine. This is actually very good. I think the only way this is better is if the Dryad Arbor is a Cradle, but I mean, you can't have everything. Keep. It's nice. They even have the punishing the Grove start. I think 3 in the main is totally defensible for sure, Levi. Like, is this over the heritage or is this 3+1 heritage? Because that's a big difference, right? The one reason why I've noticed that I do want the 1 heritage too, yeah, that's a fine configuration. I think, totally defensible. Like the second rotation, sorry, not second rotation. The second Birch Lord is essentially a flex spot at the moment. Here I think you want to protect the Arbor. So I think that package is fine, Levi. The second Birch Lord really is a flex. I'm playing the Uzma in the sideboard. I've noticed I don't really want it game one in most cases. I'd rather have the Bog, like because when it's relevant, the Bog is just way more outs because you have the 2 crop. Well, in your case, three outs, right? Um, it's faster too. Sure. Is that 2 of them already? Yeah. So they're on the mana denial plan here, and I mean they should be wasting us here to play around crop rotation. So that's kind of annoying. Yeah, if you know your metagame, like definitely the Ooze main deck does some work against Delver decks, but I think in an open field, I like it in the sideboard because, especially game one, you kind of want to win with natural order most of the time. I really hope they go for it. Actually, they can't now because the Caracas is shown. Yeah, I'm back to 3 Shepherd. Like I need the space, and I think that's the most cuttable card. Like I know it has a reputation to annoy blue players. I just don't think that's the problem matchup. Like we can beat blue players just fine without it. It's actually more relevant in the Chalice matchups, which is harder, I would say, without a higher density of shepherds. Which, like I said, with the Arcanus ban, now that Chalice is banned, or Oko ban specifically. Yeah, it's just so bad against Dom Blue decks. Like I really only want one in most cases. To be fair, I wouldn't even be surprised if at some point I went down to 2. I think 1 is just the wrong number for sure because you sometimes the first one dies. Like you want access to the second one. But I wouldn't be surprised if 2 came back, or if I went back to 2 copies. And okay, yeah, like I know. Yeah, like I said, I know it has a reputation for being obnoxious against blue players. The problem is blue players, a lot of them, especially if they don't play other decks or don't play elves, they don't see when it's bad, and it is quite often bad. Um, a comparison I like to make is it's kind of like the new. What are you playing right now? Just League Trends? So I switched to Leyline because it's just people like to turn zero me or turn one me in League, so that's kind of a hedge against it. Leyline also happens to be our strongest hoser, and I think I'd rather just go with that in most cases. I think we can pass the. Oh shit, we can't. Maybe we should have concealed the what is it called? The Caracas, but I mean, I think it's better to play it out there than not. This is quite the hand. I mean, it only buys us one turn to be fair, but yeah, I probably should have paid attention there more, or paid more attention there, Diego. We have Ooze though as a as out. I think they're thinking about Mindbird Trap. Removal is a possibility too. Interesting. Jeez, okay. Hmm. Yeah, I haven't been following the challenge results, but I think I did see something about Allure doing well. But definitely strange for real. I mean, for sure. How do we gain a life there? Oh, that's funny. Because of the grove. I know, this is pretty sweet now, right? I think we're still dead, though. Like, we need a visionary into, like, something else. Well, there's step one. There's step one. Let's see. One, two. So this buys us one turn. A good thing to know is what are your outs. And yeah, our outs there was like visionary into something, and it buys us one turn. Oh, that ghost core is gonna be. Actually, we have a fetch. I mean, It definitely was awkward to draw the interesting plays. It definitely was awkward to draw the yeah, there you go. All right, now we're dead. It was awkward to draw the Caracas there because we can't blow them out, and you can't not play it. I think I was fine with the way that turned out. I think in this matchup the Archon is fine because they're on the Punishing Fire version. So this is a virtual mode of 6 already, and kind of slow. I'm gonna try it again. All right, this is a lot better.
Okay.
It does. It does. Like you feel good about it, and then suddenly you draw it, and then it's even worse with Bog, right? This matchup is all about speed, and I did not like the way the other hand was potentially gonna play out. Like especially if the Once Upon a Time wasn't good, like then your hand doesn't really do anything for a few turns. Especially if they have these kind of busted starts. Another one, or it might be a crop rotation here for a Tabernacle. No, another exploration. Okay, they're just gonna play out their whole hand. Jeez. Oops. So I'm just gonna play this because I want to set up a bog if they try to loam. I'm gonna leave this up. That might be a wasteland. I'm not sure what else it would be, to be honest. Like it's got to be the wasteland here, in my opinion. Yeah. Luckily, we have the counter spell for it. Yeah, Crop is just so broken, like in these spots. Like Heritage Druid wouldn't be able to do this. Here we're playing around the port, right? So we're just gonna tap the Cradle, so we only lose 1 mana. So they're gonna port probably the Arbor. Yep. I think the Glimpse is may not come into effect, but I'm just gonna hold on to. I'm gonna wait. We have time. We're not under pressure. Sure, that's a blank. It's because of Tabernacle. I usually find myself behind on clock against Lance players. It's probably the only matchup where I find myself consistently behind. I think that's fine. Yeah, I want to keep my options open for live top decks. Is the reason why I didn't reclaim a response to grow it. Like, there's an argument to be made to get the Caracas there, but I'm gonna play the percentages. In fact, actually, it might be safe to do it now, so we just don't die out of nowhere. If they don't port us here, that signals to me that they have a combo. All right, we don't have a great line here, so this is gonna be the Caracas turn. I think this is where we should start bashing, um, and hope our top decks are better than theirs. Like, we've already hedged against their top deck Dark Depths. We're not too far off just a hard cast hoof too. That's good. I think here it probably makes sense to cycle the glimpse now. Like, we eventually want to just hardcast this hoof. Or just activate Shepherd too if we have a draw into a cradle. like in general when playing elves, you kind of have to have an internal clock of where you at where you're at, and you cannot give the opponent too much time. Uh oh, what could that be? Ouch. So that's gonna be annoying. Yeah, I think our opponent kind of realizes what's going on too, and is trying to stop the bleeding. Like, I think here we actually do not want the. This is tough because they can port us too. Is the issue? I think the answer is no here. Nope. That is a clutch top deck. Wow. That we needed that top deck pretty badly. So the reason why I let my stuff die is I don't want to lose to crop rotation like Merit Lage out of nowhere. Chat. Like I think this game we're favored at this point. Sure. They're on a one turn clock now. If they want to blow up their explorations, I'm fine with it. With the blast zone. Sure. Rashad, two Rashad imports. This is quite the grind, but I think I like where we're at. This matchup is not easy too. I just happen to have a lot of experience playing against very good Lance players in leagues and whatnot. Some of the better ones are like, I know Tim Schultz is really good. I forget the other person's name, but there are some quite a few good lands players in league. Ali is very good, and the only way you get better in the matchup is to play it more often. And I tend to play. Yeah, Yetcat is who I'm talking about. That's very good. Because I don't think we're favored to be a. Oh, that might be the blast zone. Yeah, I don't think we're favored in this matchup, and I think yeah, Yetcat is very good. I will say. So they went for the crowd rotation, which I think is fine. Um, they can't kill us this turn, so I'm gonna tap that white mana. That's good. Yeah, they. I think they're on like a reclaimer build at the moment, which I know I've raved a lot about reclaimer, but uh, they're definitely one of the better lands players I've played against, and it only makes me a better player by having that experience. Yeah, the Flagstones is just a really cool card, I think. Let's see, they have enough mana to just kill me with. They used three of their crops already. I mean, technically speaking, they could still have it. So I think we're not really in a rush to. They can double port us if they want here. Oh, that's a very good top deck. Like every land, it's just. I would. This is one of the few matchups I think. Sure. This is one of the few matchups I think I wouldn't mind just starting with six lands in hand, because this is a lot of the wins. This is how it plays out. Like this actually was huge because it pays for our creatures too, so they can't kill us and port us on the same turn. And I think we're gonna get there. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel good about it right now. Like I think this puts them to one, and then next turn we put them to zero, and we don't give them any outs by leaving the Karakas up. Like they have to port here, right? Like to buy one more turn potentially, but I just don't see how they have an out. Sure. Oh, so they're just gonna. What are they doing? They should have ported the other. Or okay, sure, that makes sense. Oh, that's yikes. One turn too early. The good thing is we do have the Leyline of the Void that we can hard cast. We do not want to draw the basic force. they're oof. So they're gonna port. Well, ooh, they didn't port. I think we've got to slam down the ley line while we have the chance. Cause yeah, the timer might be an issue for them right now. We're just gonna pass priority. Wow, that's a hell of a draw. I think you play for the win here. Cause then, yeah, they do that. That's fine. I have two pumps. We got there, boys. That was a crazy game. It's possible we could have just thrown away our arbors earlier and just to land the ley line, but there's value in tapping our opponent out too until we draw something better. Like I think our outs were pretty live. Like we had the Caracas up the whole game. Um, I think we played that pretty well. Like it's possible we should have. The one thing I could have done better was maybe let the arbors die so I can hard cast the ley line when punishing fire was out. But I think everything else was probably played as it should have. What do you think, chat? Would you guys have played it the same way, or would you have what is it called? Or would you have let the arbor die so we can land the ley line earlier? Because I think I can see the arguments for both, but we got the nice 4-1 here. This yeah, of all things, we lost to Stone Cloaker out of DNT. I think the list felt fine. I think what I might try in the future, just for more explosiveness, is instead of the 2-1 Birch Lore Heritage split, I think what Levi said earlier, there's definitely some merits into the third crop rotation over the second Birch Lore. Uh, the other thing it does is, yeah, there's an argument because there's only one crop rotation left, right? But I just figured since we're pretty ahead, uh, so my logic for that, Diego, is since we were pretty ahead, I didn't want to just lose out of nowhere when I felt like we were in control of that game. But yeah, for sure, there you could be a little more aggressive and then close out faster. There's an argument for that too. Let me see. Yeah, so that's definitely a possibility. The other one is like I said, you could let the arbor die and hard cast the ley line earlier, but the thing is they could have just ported as well, and I think maybe clock factored into that, like why they missed the port on that one crucial turn. And I think I'm glad I was heads up enough to there at least to just screw the visionary and just cast when there's an open, cast the ley line. But I definitely could see this being like a third crop, um, just for more explosiveness. And it's good in the like. I don't think I like the crop rotation as much in the sideboard, only because um, the graveyard hit you tend to need is like the turn zero type, like Layla and the way. It's not so much the what's it called, like dredge. Like we can beat dredge pretty easily in my opinion, or like Hogak. For sure, yeah, I agree, Diego. Like that ley line, what it does, it means that punishing fire is turned off. And the part of my logic for not letting the Arbor die was because they could just port us anyways. And I think maybe Clock had something to do with that. Like it seemed like a misclick. If I'm trying to be fair on their end, they might have just clicked through it. But we'll take it. Like uh, it's 10 o'clock, which means unfortunately it's like not. It's a little too late for another league. Um, so I think I might just end it here on one league for tonight. I mean, we played some grindy matchups. Let me go back to the league. Close this. Yeah, we played 14 out of the maximum 15 games, so it was a pretty grindy league altogether. I think overall I was pretty happy with my play. I don't think I did anything that was bad, so to speak. Like our loss, like I'm not gonna play around Stone Cloaker realistically. I think we played that actually. That was one of the best games we played. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, mental misstep. Day Cedrus is one of the best players that I know, and you know, getting his praise for being fun to watch is definitely a compliment. So I appreciate that for sure. Um, and then also same thing. Diego is a recent player of this version of the deck, and I know he's been enjoying it. So I'm glad this has been pretty entertaining for everybody. So Romario just signed on, and Goblin Lack. Any preference? Which one you want me to raid? Chat. So I think I might raid Romario only because he at the moment it looks like he just signed on. If there's no preference, um, okay, we'll do Romario, and the reason being is because it looks like he just signed on, so he might be on longer. Thanks for everybody for stopping by. It was a lot of fun as usual, and as feel free to message me on Twitter or Facebook, whatever, or just Discord if you guys have questions about this deck. I'll bring it up one last time, and I think the one thing I would change is maybe from today at least, I might try the third crop rotation for explosiveness. Or this could be the second heritage too, but I think the numbers feel pretty good in the main deck at the moment. And the sideboard felt like this is iffy, but I think you want some amount of turn zero hate for the degenerate decks. No problem. Anytime, Diego. Appreciate it. So I'm gonna raid Romario right now. Oops, sorry. Raid.